let's talk. Let's get into you as a co-owner of Crew Lounge at Alpharetta. Like, how did that come about?
Well, it's a long story short. Now, y'all know when Black people say it's a long story short, it's a long story.
It's really not long.
But I'm going to keep it
like
short.
Story.
So
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Sommer Nicole, and thank you so much for tuning in to KissTalk podcast every Monday at 7 p.m. I mean, today I have a special guest, y'all. I have a special guest, and she's so amazing. Like, I mean, the girl is super talented. I mean, she just does, like, her vocals is crazy. The way she just put the song together, like, a whole mood. Like, I just love it. Like, I mean, I'm so excited to interview her today. And let me introduce you guys to Torica.
hi, everybody. For that awesome introduction.
I'm so excited to interview you today.
I'm excited to be interviewed, especially by you. So I know that you're interviewing me, but I have to start this off. I cannot leave today without saying that I am so proud of you. I'm so inspired and motivated by you. You are always pivoting. You have been so many summers since I've seen you. And it's been so many summers. Like, since I first met you, you have always elevated. You've always pivoted. You know, you may have failed at one thing, but you never let that stop you. And I feel like, you know, a lot of people put themselves in a box and then they allow other people to put them in boxes. But you got like a million boxes. You're like, okay, y'all put me in that box, but I got 10 more boxes over here and I still got those boxes too. So I just want to like give you your flowers. I know that's very cliche these days because a lot of people say it, but they really don't sincerely mean it. But I really mean it. Like you, I mean, when I first met you, you had your photo studio, then you started your digital billboard trucks. You were casting models and videos, movies, shows, TVs, events, red carpets.
Come on, like, now.
You have laid the foundation for a lot of people to be successful. So you should see yourself as like a launch pad, like a success launch pad. You've launched a lot of people's careers, and people may not come back and say, you know what? I got my start at Sommer Nicole's studio or, you know, KissWorks studio. But I'm here to tell you, like, I've seen a lot of girls that have come through your programs and your systems and your castings, and they've gone on to elevate. So you have to give yourself kudos because you have everything to do with how they got to that point.
You about to make me cry. Don't cry. Thank you so much.
Yes,
but
you're
let
welcome.
me give you your flowers.
Okay, girl, I'm ready.
I mean, you are so amazing at what you do. When I seen your music video and I seen that you dropped that single, A Whole Mood, I was just like, Torica, come on now.
Thank you.
I was like, no, she don't have, I didn't know you, let me just say, I didn't know that you was an artist like that. Like, I knew that you could sing, but I didn't know, like, you know, and so I'm so honored to like sit down with you to talk more about that because I think that is such a dope thing that you're doing right now is transitioning into just focusing on your music, focusing on your craft, the things that you're passionate about. You know, I know that you did events, you know, you're co-owner of Crew at Alpharetta. And I mean, you're just thriving. You're thriving.
I am.
And you're so amazing. And you're a mother.
Thank you. Yes. That's my most important job for sure.
Yes. And I'm a mother. And so I understand, like, we relate so well together. Like, we connect so well because we have things in common, you know, and I just appreciate you for supporting me throughout the years and just understanding my growth and understanding who I am as a person, because a lot of people box us in and not give us our credit and not value us as people, as hardworking people. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And you're welcome. And I received that. And I've been trying to do more of celebrating myself. I think that, you know, one thing I would like to say, you know, as a Black woman, just because you can doesn't mean you have to. Doesn't mean you should. And we take on a lot of things that we really shouldn't and that we really shouldn't have to do on our own. But it's like, oh, well, she can handle it. She can handle it. She is handling it, but she shouldn't have to handle everything.
Exactly.
So I know what that's like to be insulated in your life and you're the nucleus of your life and everyone's asking you to do this and that and, not knowing how to say no or when to say no or feeling bad when you say no, just being pulled in all these different directions and pouring into everybody else till you're empty.
Yes.
So I definitely, I agree. I understand.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I just want to get more into who you are, because a lot of people know you. A lot of people look up to you. A lot of people love what you're doing, but they don't know you. They don't know who Torica is,
Right.
And so we want to get more deep into who Torica is.
Okay.
So let's talk about where you're from. Like, where did you grow up? Like, where you grew up at?
I am from Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay.
So they call it
country.
Yes, they call it the Met or the Metro, but it's the capital of the state. But it's a small town, but it has a big city element. But I always knew that I was bigger than where I was from because everyone was trying to get me to be a teacher or a doctor or a judge or a lawyer. And there's nothing wrong with those professions because we all need those professions in order for the world to go around. But that just wasn't what I wanted to do.
Yes.
I knew that there was something bigger for me and I didn't know what it was. I just knew it was something out there that I needed to reach out for. And I knew that staying where I was, in my hometown, I was only going to be able to hit a certain ceiling.
Yes.
And, that glass ceiling is something that I feel like a lot of Black families put over their kids, not in a malicious way, but it's like, oh, we want you to have stability, get you a good job, go to college, learn a trade, have a steady income, but they don't teach their kids to be dreamers. They don't teach their kids to be seekers, to go out there and figure out what you want to do. A lot of times people tell us what we want to do, but they don't let us figure out what we want to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to be and do something really big on a major scale. And I think part of being from a small town makes me a little fearless because I didn't get to see much. I only got to see what was around me. So I was always, curious about what was out there, what was beyond the borders of the state I grew up in. So I think it helped boost me into the space where I just wanted to go out and explore and discover and learn and grow and evolve and elevate. But for some people, it's like the microcosm of where they're from. They get stuck in that. So I just never wanted to get stuck. Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's talk about how you manage, how do you balance motherhood with, being an artist, being a mother, being, just overall, just as a businesswoman, how do you manage all of those things and balance all of those things at one time?
I don't. I just melt into puddles all day. That's what I do.
How do you do it?
Well, I think I used to chase balance. That used to be my goal. I got to balance it all. I got to balance it all. But I had to figure out, I have one person, I have two hands, I have two eyes, one mouth, two ears, two legs, 2 feet. I could only do so much.
Yes.
I can only be in so many places at once. So my goal shifted from wanting to find balance to finding harmony. How can I make all of these things that I'm required to do, all these obligations, all these responsibilities, how can I make them harmonize with each other? Sometimes when I'm going to pick up inventory for my business, my kids are in the back seat. We all going, listen, y'all my little personal assistants. You grab this bag, you grab that bag. Yeah. You go this way, you go this way. I just have to make it work. So I think that, and I can't tell other people what to do, but I can speak from my experience. I think other women that are moms who are busy, stop trying to balance. Yeah. It's impossible. You can't balance because balancing means you're like this. You on a tightrope all day. Harmonize. Listen, if you have an errand to run and you got to pick your kids up from school, try to make that errand on the way to their school or on the way from their school. Instead of going to this side of town, they're coming all the way back over here and they're going all the way back over there.
It's a lot.
A lot of times we're just so busy, we're not taking time to strategize and streamline. So I've really been working on mastering the art of streamlining and harmonizing. I'm no longer trying to balance because it's not possible.
So do you have a routine? Do you feel like with our schedules as being mothers, taking our kids to school and doing all the things that we do as women, do you feel like you're more successful with a routine? Do you have a routine?
Structure is very important for me, especially for my kids, because children need routine. They need structure. They need, set things to do because we have to remember, no matter how old your kids are, that's how long they've been in the world. My daughters are only 5. So I can't expect them to have all of these things that I have in my head because they've only been in the world for 5 years and I'm their world. So they only know what I introduced them to. So I have to remember, I'm teaching them how to develop their own identity in the world while also not trying to lose my own identity as a woman and not just becoming their mom. I have to show them I can be successful. I can have multiple businesses. I can have multiple projects going on. I can multitask and I can be successful while doing all of those things while also being a successful mother. I think that a lot of times, you know, I put my kids before myself and I was doing them and myself a disservice because if I fall apart, I can do nothing for them. So I'm like, I need to put me first, then I can be present for them. Just like when you get on a plane, the first thing they tell you when you're, you know, going through the emergency speech or whatever, they say, you know, before helping someone else, put your mask on, and then you can assist the person next to you. That's the same thing that we should be applying in our life, because if I'm running out of oxygen, what am I going to give my kids? What are they going to do if I'm passed out on the floor? Nothing. They're just going to be looking at me like, what you doing? You need to get up. We hungry. We want to eat. We want to go somewhere. We want to go play. We want to go spend all your money. But I just think that as women, we've just been programmed to just do it all. And leave ourselves the crumbs left at the end of the day. And we need to do the opposite. We need to give ourselves all of the energy so that we can disperse that energy to everyone else around us. Because most women are the nucleus in their life. We're the people that make the decisions on where we're going to eat, what we're going to eat, the groceries we buy, the bills that need to get paid first, you know, how the house is decorated, everything. We are literally the nucleus of our life. So I just want women to, and I can't say this enough, I know I'm being redundant, but I want all the women out there, whether you have kids or not, make yourself a priority. For your mental health.
Oh my gosh, you just said a mouthful in just 1 second.
Seriously,
you did.
I'm a victim of not making myself a priority, but I have started adopting that more, and I can tell you I feel better. I have more energy. I feel more accomplished. I'm getting things done because I'm looking out for me first. I'm being selfish in a way that I can be selfless. But if you're selfless and you're not selfish, you're going to disappear. You're going to dissolve into dust because you're going to be exhausted trying to do everything for everybody else, and you're left with nothing.
I totally agree with what you're saying right now. You're speaking to me.
Listen,
you're speaking my language right now.
We got to put that on the universe.
Yes, I love it. And I feel like that's so true. Like, you have to put yourself, you got priority. You have to prioritize yourself. Because sometimes a lot of women lose themselves in relationships. They lose themselves as mothers because we get so caught up in the moment. And we have to be able to embrace the moment, but also keep our sanity, keep who we are as women, you know, and I totally agree with that. Let's get into, you know, you as a co-owner of Crew Lounge at Alpharetta. Like, how did that come about?
Well, it's a long story short. Now, y'all know what Black people say, it's a long story short. It's a long story.
It's really not long.
But I'm going to keep it short. So back in 2016, 2017, there was one Crew location. It was in Midtown, the flagship location of Ponce. Shout out to the OG Crew, that's what we call it. And I used to manage that location. And so when customers would come in from different cities, different parts of town, they would be like, wow, this is such a dope vibe. How can I get this on my side of town? How can I get this in my city? How can y'all just open another one? Like, where is another one gonna be? And we were like, let's see, how can we duplicate this without having to physically be there? So Dennis McKinley, who founded Crew, who's also the CEO of Crew, he acquired the rights to Crew in 2015 and outfitted it and transformed it and elevated it into the Crew that you can see now. But we actively have 21 locations open right now because we figured out a way to franchise the business model, duplicate it, scale it, and repeat. That's the key. That's how we did it. So I became a partner in the Alpharetta location with Shanika, Robbie, and Alex because I helped create the blueprint for the Crew franchise program. So it was only right that I involved myself in a location where my other partners were astute in business in other areas as well. And Shanika used to own Burn Lounge, which was open for 8 years. It was a super successful business. Alex and Robbie have Good Energy Worldwide, the trucking platform.
Amazing guys.
Yes, both of them, all of them are like my family. But we all just decided we need to come together and do something as a unit because we're all being successful, you know, individually, but collectively we can be a powerhouse. So the opportunity presented itself for us to acquire that location from another owner who had it previously. And then we just, you know, came in, we added a couple of things, we turned it up a little more, and here we are today. So
And you know what? I'm so proud of y'all because a lot of people wouldn't think Alpharetta would be the place to have a crew lounge and like really pop that thing off, and y'all popped it off.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think my first time seeing you there was when we did Ari's Hype Hair cover release event.
Yes.
So the beautiful thing about our location.
Shout out to Ebony, her PR, her publicist. You know, shout out to her and shout out to you because you show love as well. Like,
yes, of course. Anytime I see you, it's all love. And I'm like, Sommer, come on right now. Who are you with? Okay, you're good. Here, I'm never gonna. We can be at the Grammys. I'm gonna be like, listen, I need her on the carpet over here.
Yes.
But ultimately, we're the largest crew in our system. So crew is ultimately like a really intimate boutique lounge, you know, environment. But that location itself was just so beautiful, and it was already built, and it was already, you know, outfitted. We just elevated it a little more, but that's the largest crew in the system. So we can do the big celebrity events and the big, you know, highly publicized events because we can fit so many more people. But what people don't understand is a lot of us Black people live in Alpharetta.
Yes.
And they got a coin. Okay.
They do. They do.
And they don't want to drive all the way to the city to go out or drive all the way to Buckhead. So they have limited options of what they can do after a certain time of night. So we were like, you know, hey, we did some research. We were like, this would be a great place.
Perfect everything, yes.
Yeah.
And shout out to my brother. He did electrical work for y'all.
Oh, he's amazing. I didn't know that was your brother.
Yes.
That's such a full circle moment.
Thank you. He really, really did his thing with you guys, and I just love it. But I want to go back. I want to go into your music career.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Like, because I know that's your passion.
Yes,
like that's your passion. That's what you love. That's what you live for.
Yes.
You know, and I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
Because a whole mood is a vibe.
Period.
It's a vibe. I'm ready for it. So get into it.
That I had to step away from music because I had to take a hiatus for life because life be lifing, as we all know.
We all do.
And we just talked about that, balancing, harmonizing motherhood, you know, businesses, just having all these responsibilities.
Yes.
But music is the first thing I think about when I get up, and it's the last thing I think about before I go to sleep.
Yes.
So I was missing it so bad, and it was therapeutic for me to go in the studio and just get things out that I was feeling on the inside, and I was missing that element. I didn't have an outlet, and I was probably burning Shauna's phone up, my business partner. She's also one of my best friends, because I didn't have that outlet. So I would just, when I was going through it, I would call her in the middle of the night, like, oh my God, everything is off.
Yeah.
So she was like, you need to get back in the studio. And so I was working on a project called All-Star Kids, which is a volume of lullabies, but they're redone in a soulful way, because as you know, listening to Coco Melon over and over, no shade, shout out to Coco Melon. But a lot of those songs are kind of annoying, like, because they're made to help kids remember and learn, but I want to hear something that kind of sounds like my music too, but in a, you know, appropriate manner where a child can listen to it. So Dennis McKinley, shout out to him again. He decided to create All-Star Kid because he has a daughter and she's 4 years old. Her name is PJ. And he wanted to have something that she could listen to that he wouldn't also be like cringing to hear all day over and over and over.
Yes.
So I ended up coming in the studio. He asked me to do Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And I did my own version of it, a very soulful version of it. And that song is like one of the fan favorites on the album.
Wow.
And after that, because, you know, he knew me from just being his business partner.
Yes.
His friend. He was like, you know what? You really should get back in the studio. Like, your voice is amazing. Like, and you went in there and just effortlessly did this song with like one take, like no problem. And I was like, I don't know, you know, just feeling really reluctant and not really wanting to shine the light on myself, as usual, with putting other things and other people before myself. And I said, you know what? I went home and I thought about it, and I was like, it's no better time than now. If I don't do this, I'm going to regret it.
Yes.
Because music is what I love, and it's in my DNA, and it's, like I said, it's all I think about all day. I'm listening to other people's songs. I'm like, dang, I would have did this, or I would have did that. I'm doing my own ad-libs. I'm doing car karaoke. And so he was like, let's get back in the studio. We got in the studio in May, and I've recorded like almost 30 songs since between May and July.
Oh, wow.
So that's how we got to A Whole Mood. And yeah.
So who produced A Whole Mood?
Dennis McKinley executive produced the project, but the production on it comes from Detroit Knicks, rest in peace. Squat Beats, Go Grizz, a producer named Pregnant Boy, and and a producer named K Majors. He's also a songwriter. So he wrote all of my songs with me. Like, we co-wrote the whole thing.
Wow. So you got some really dope people on your team.
Play, okay. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it big. Yeah,
I love it. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have been around a lot of amazing people, and a lot of people love you and they support you in what you do because you're just a bomb ass person.
Thank you.
You know, and just overall, like you have a lot of success, and even with being nominated for the Grammys. Let's talk about that.
Yes. So, I did Sick of Being Lonely Every Night While My Head.
That's my song.
That was me on the hook.
A lot of people
probably don't really know that. Some people do, but a lot of people don't, because during that time, the digital landscape of social media was much different than it is now. Like MySpace was around, Twitter was just starting to like become a thing, but there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook, there was no TikTok and Snapchat and Triller and all these different, platforms. So we didn't know how the song was impacting people until we went and performed it, and we saw people actually reacting to the song.
It's on my playlist.
Now, when you go put out a song, you can immediately see people will like it, they'll share it, they'll repost it. You can get that immediate connectivity, but we didn't have that then. So we literally had to get on the road and see how the song was moving. So we didn't really realize how big the song was until after the, height of everything happened, and we started looking at the stats, and we were like number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Oh, you guys was
we were like, on the top, I think 200 hip hop and R&B albums, we were like number 30, which is a huge accomplishment. It's so many albums big. Out, like
that's
to
big.
Be that. We were on 106 in Park, TRL, Dave Chappelle's show. We performed with Jimmy Kimmel, Soul Train. And so when I got the invitation in the mail from the Grammys, I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, I'm an artist, and the Grammys even acknowledging that I exist was like a huge thing for me. So now I want to win. The nomination was cute.
Come on, shout out to Jazzy Faye for that too. Jazzy Faye, shout out to him because he produced that.
He put me in the studio with them, and we came up with the song, and I recorded that hook in like 30 minutes. And that 30 minutes totally changed my life.
Yes,
for sure.
Was Jazzy Faye a part of that production?
He produced that track. Yes.
Okay. Yep. Just want to make sure my stuff is together.
No,
I know
my guy.
music.
That's my guy.
My music.
Yeah, you do. So I think where the disconnect happened with me after the height of that song, I was doing my own shows. I was doing shows with Phil Mob. We were on the road. I wasn't signed. So it was like once the height of that song, once it started dying out, so to speak, I kind of had to die out too, but instead I pivoted and I started working with other people, writing for other people. I've written for Monica. I wrote on her Still Standing album, which is platinum. It's a gold album. Monica is probably one of the dopest people in the music industry that I've ever worked with. Yeah. She is very much big sis, homegirl. Like, she's
humble,
so cool.
Very humble person.
So humble. And she doesn't have to be. She has receipts, accolades, discography, long-term relationships with everybody knows Monica everywhere, respects her. I just love her. But I think that when you're not signed in an environment like that, you have to really establish a way to keep yourself relevant. And that's what I did. So I started writing. I started learning how to write, industry format standard. So I got in the studio and I perfected my craft. I used to demo songs for The Clutch. The Clutch consisted of Carrie Hilson, this guy named JQ, Zeke, his name is Ezekiel, but everybody calls him Zeke, and Candace. So sometimes when Candace wasn't available to demo, they would call me in and I would demo the songs, and they would get placed and shopped around. So that's how I learned how to record, like for real. When I did that Phil Mop song, that was my first time ever recording in the studio, period.
Man, you killed it though.
Thank you.
Because I was like, that's the part.
That song still gets airplay right now.
Sick of being lonely every night.
Hey. No, seriously. I really didn't realize how big that song was until I started going places and people were coming up to me, and like, we performed during NBA All-Star when it was in Atlanta, and like, I literally was signing autographs for like 6 hours. People had to bring me food and drinks. I took my shoes off. Like, they wouldn't let me move. And I was like, wow, this is amazing that one little thing that I did has impacted so many people. And now I hear people like, oh, I was in high school when this song came out. I was in middle school. Or I just broke up with my boyfriend. So just knowing that song was like a part of people's lives is so, special to me, for sure.
But that goes down to history, though. Yeah. Because I really wanted to interview with Phil Mob because I want to know what they're doing right now, how they're doing. But have you kept in touch with them?
Yes. So Smoke and I are really close. That's like my brother. I just spoke to him like 2 days ago. And we're actually about to work on something
good.
Very soon. I can't speak on it yet.
I love to hear that.
Last year, we actually performed at Wolf Creek Amphitheater. It was like an 8-town music fest type thing.
Okay.
And they brought us out and we killed it. And literally everybody in the audience was singing the entire song the whole time. Like,
of course.
They love this song, classic. Like, still to this day. But I think that it's important for people to understand that this music stuff is not easy. It's a lot.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of time that you spend away from your family, your kids. It's a lot of just stress. It's a lot of rejection. It's a lot of no's. It's a lot of people telling you you're too tall, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too skinny, your nose is too wide, your lips not big enough, your boobs not big enough, you need your hips too wide, too small. Like, it's just so much.
Yes.
And so to be grounded, you really have to have a solid team around you and people who really care about you. So I've been blessed and fortunate to have had bad people on my team so I could learn from them and learn what I didn't want.
Yes.
And then now I know what type of people to have around me. So it's definitely helped shape me and mold me into the artist that I am now. So I'm much more wise. I'm much more mature. I'm much more aware and confident in who I am. I know who I am. I'm that girl.
You are
the
that
girl
girl
next door to that girl next door.
You are that girl.
Period.
Who is your favorite all-time artist?
That's a loaded question.
Like, give me one, maybe, okay. I would say your top 3, but give me your top 2.
Top 2 artists of all time, like, listen to their music, no skipping.
No skipping through the albums.
Okay. Anita Baker.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. Anita Baker.
I love Anita.
Auntie Anita. You cannot go wrong with Auntie Anita.
Yes.
My other favorite artist, vocally, is Brandy.
Mine too.
No.
I was hoping you was gonna say
Seriously?
that. I'm sorry to get excited. Yeah.
I'm gonna have something for you that is going to blow your mind, but I can't speak on it yet until the ink is dry. But you're gonna be really excited about this when it happens. So
hold on, before you go, before you go into that, you remember when I told you before we started, I said I want to know. I really want to know who your favorite artist is, but I'm not gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
And you actually told me that your favorite artist is my favorite artist, Brandy.
No, seriously.
She's a classic artist.
She is a beast.
Phenomenal.
I feel like Brandy is very underappreciated. I
Yes.
feel like people who really listen to R&B love Brandy, but I just think that Brandy, the level that she is on vocally, she's out of here. Like,
Out of here.
murdering everybody on the charts.
Crazy.
And it's not about the charts. It's not about the stats and the analytics. It's about
not.
you get on that stage and her voice comes through that mic. It's
crazy.
Magic. Like, her voice is magical.
Just even that with her and Dark Child, how they combined together.
Oh my God.
And made that Full Moon album.
Magical. I know you so that you can walk into the. No, that album, I listen to that album like
love it.
every day, or like till the CD.
Yes.
It was a CD when I got it.
Yes.
I listened to that CD until it skipped.
Yes.
So I'm a true Brandy fan.
Me
and
too.
Rest in peace to my brother. He passed away a long time ago, but he gave me 3 CDs when I was younger: Brandy, SWV, and Faith Evans. And those are my top 3 like generational R&B artists. I also love Sade.
Yes,
like
me too.
I just love anything that sounds timeless and
Yes.
smooth and it feels good. Like Sade, when she sings, it's like you just feel like you're like levitating, like you're floating towards her voice.
I mean, you could just cook. You just put on Sade when you're cooking.
Yes,
when
clean
you're
your house, all that. You're trying to put your kids to sleep.
all that.
You're trying to relax. You having a bubble bath. She can just go wherever.
Yes.
Take Sade all over the house with you, and you're good.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Of
Because I
course.
was like, I mean, if you don't say Brandy, like what? And, you know,
What am I doing? Like, my career is just over. Just end it right now.
Okay, but can you give some advice to, you know, female artists? Because I know we talked about this too before, like, you know, and I'm gonna go back to that question, but I want to just go into how do you feel about female artists, you know, in a male dominant industry, you know, how women are now elevating and they're taking the shine right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about that?
Well, I think that in our country, traditionally from the 60s, you know, early on, way before, you know, our time, women were supposed to be seen and not heard. So we've always been fighting to get our voices heard. That's always been a thing in corporate America, in the household,
voting,
in music, in voting, in politics, everything. Every area of, you know, the world, women have always been, you know, marginalized as inferior. We get paid less, but we do better work. We do the same job and don't get equal pay. It's just so many things that, you know, within the sports world, like, it's just everywhere. We're just seen as this less than element. But we all know that this is a man's world, but y'all know the rest of the lyrics.
Yes.
I ain't even got to say it. But I think that very proud to be a woman in the entertainment industry right now, because women are like, speaking about body positivity. They are talking about their body parts, their sexuality, their feminism. Like, all of these things are important because that story has been told by men for so many years. So now that we're trying to tell our own story, everybody got a problem with it. It's like, if you can talk about my boobs, why can't I talk about them?
Exactly.
You can talk about my boobs, but I'm being ostracized for whipping them out, breastfeeding my baby. Like, make it make sense.
Right.
Like, I don't understand. Why can't I talk about my own body parts? So I think that I really admire the women who are not afraid to just unapologetically be a woman and stand in that. And that's their message. And it's like, whatever, Cardi, Megan, Lotto,
all of them,
Bia, Coily Ray, Lil Kim, Nicki Minaj, Foxy Brown, all of these women are, overly criticized for their music being sexually driven or sexually charged, but we're women, we're sexy creatures, like, and every man in the world is looking at us. So why can't we talk about how proud we are of how we look? And those songs aren't for kids. A lot of people are like, oh, that's not appropriate. Well, porn is one of the biggest industries in the world. So the math is not mathing.
It's not mathing.
Somebody is watching that, but y'all ostracizing these Black women who are celebrating their bodies. And yes, some of it is vulgar, but they're adults and they're making music for adults. So I don't understand what the problem is.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. It's just not fair.
It's not.
Because they can talk about it all day long, call us, all these different names and tell us what we are and what we're not, but at the end of the day, when we get on the when women get on the track and explain who we are and what we like and what we want to do, it's a problem.
Also, I just want to elaborate too that, I would love to tell other young women out there who are aspiring artists, aspiring music industry executives, aspiring entertainment attorneys. There's so many different jobs you can have in the industry. If you're not talented vocally, if you're not talented, if you can't dance, you can't sing, you can't rap, you can be an entertainment attorney, you can be an executive, you can be a stylist, you can be so many other things. You can be an A&R, you can be a journalist. There's so many different things attached to the music industry. Don't be afraid to be labeled a bitch.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that to say go in every room and be like, I'm the biggest bitch. But when you are assertive about your business and when you start talking contracts, money, compensation, all of a sudden, you're not fun anymore. You're not the pretty girl to look at. Yeah, I'm pretty to look at, but my brain is pretty too. So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Like, don't be afraid to get your money. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. And don't let people diminish your voice simply because you look soft and pretty. That doesn't mean you're not smart and that you can't ask about your money and demand to be compensated appropriately. So I hope that, other women are empowered to get their bag. Like, we are the bag.
Get your bag, no matter what people say, think, or say about you. Just continue to move forward and do what you want to do and live your life and have fun. That's it. And get to the money. But yes, thank you so much, Torica. Like, I really appreciate you for being on my show today.
Thank you for having me. Yes.
I mean, we are the whole reason of us doing KissTalk podcast is to give people a platform to come on and just talk about who they are, talk about their story, their success story.
Yes.
And to be able to inspire other entrepreneurs, artists, and anybody that's in various industries that they can learn from this. And that's what it's all about, just giving a platform for people to learn.
Yeah, I always want to be the voice that I didn't have. I always want to give people advice that I was seeking when I was starting out. So, I'm not a gatekeeper. That's just not me. That's never been me. If you see me and you have a question and I can answer it, to the best of my ability, shoot, I'm not like that. Like, ask me, I'm going to tell you. If I don't know, I'm going to be like, I don't know. If I know and I have experience in something, I don't mind sharing that knowledge.
Yes.
But before we go, I do want to talk about a whole mood real fast.
Yes. No. I want to wait. I was about to go into that.
Okay. So Sommer is about to kick me off of her podcast because I'm trying to control the interview. Sorry.
We about to go into it. I was going to close it out with the whole mood, I love the single and I'm just like so excited for the single because it's a really, really vibe. It's a vibe. When you call it the whole vibe, I was like, it's really a vibe.
Yeah.
So kind of tell us how did you come up with the song? Like, what's the process of that song?
So I listened to a series of tracks and this one particular track really stood out. It was actually, I think, the third song I recorded when we started this process. I'm really big on feeling. So I'll listen to tracks a lot of times with my eyes closed because I just want to feel it. I don't want to see what other people are doing, how they're reacting to it. I want to know, for me, how does this track make me feel? So I'll close my eyes and I'll be like, okay, this makes me feel like, and then I start seeing, I see like a movie or what someone would translate as a music video in my head. And so I start seeing concepts and I'll just be like, okay, this sounds like a dark, stormy, like subject matter. Like it sounds like it's like empowering and it's in your face and it's emotionally charged and the beat is so simple. I need to just attack the beat and just ride it. You know what I'm saying? So no, pause. That didn't sound.
I mean, but it is what it is.
But literally, I listened to the track and I was like, this sounds like, what if I did something that you wouldn't expect? How would that make you feel? You know, and I was like, I need this man or this person to understand that you can't play with me because I'm a mood and you are shifting my mood. So I need to shift you out of my life so that I can get back to my mood.
Oh, you just hit home.
Yeah, I had to reclaim my mood on this song. And I feel like a lot of women, we spoke about this earlier, we lose our identity in the people around us. We become someone's mom, someone's girlfriend, someone's fiance, someone's wife, someone's business partner, someone's coworker, someone's executive. So we lose who we are. A lot of times, once a woman is retired, she doesn't know what she wants to do because she doesn't even know who she is. Because she spent her whole life being all these people to all these people. But she's been no one to herself. So I think this song is very empowering for a woman who may be in a relationship that she knows she needs to get out of, or someone who's just left a relationship and is feeling that, you know, that line of trying to go back. He's trying to say all the right things. No, reclaim your mood. Get back to being yourself.
Oh,
you're a whole mood. Women, we are a whole mood. When we wake up in the morning, we're a mood. Whether it's good mood or bad mood, we're a mood. So we have to just remember, like, don't lose yourself in anything, in your relationship, in your job as a mom, or your job as a wife, or your job as a parent, your job as a friend, your job as a daughter or a sibling. We all just get so caught up in trying to people please and be this, that for that person, and, you know, make other people comfortable. Your insecurity has nothing to do with my confidence.
No.
So I'm a whole mood. So and you're a whole mood. And we're a whole mood.
I mean, it's a whole mood because a lot of women are going through this same issue, this same vibe right now, like of, you know, just trying to find themselves out of a situation. And I can relate to that. You know, I can relate to that. Other people can relate to that. And it's definitely something that people need to hear, you know, and I appreciate you for making a song like that that people can relate to.
Yes.
How's the love life?
So, it exists. It's progressing.
Is it fresh?
Yeah, it's not too old.
Okay.
Without giving away too much. But honestly, like, as far as love life, I'm really just trying to make sure I practice what I preach. I'm trying to make sure I don't become someone. I still want to be me, and I want that person to be them, and then collectively we're us.
Yes.
So that like navigating that is a challenge.
Yes.
Because it's so easy to be like, oh, whatever you want to do, oh, let's go wherever you want to go, let's do. But I really have to stand in who I am, because I feel like that's part of what attracts the other person to you. So when you start becoming just their someone, they lose attraction because they're like, well, I was attracted to who you were before I met you. So I'm just trying not to lose who I am in anything.
Yeah.
So
and it's easy to do that.
It's very easy to, because it's fun, and love can make you kind of lazy. It can make you kind of be like,
you gain weight.
Like
you just
thinking,
like,
I don't feel like doing anything. Just tell me how to dress.
Gain weight.
We have to stay snatched.
You got to be snatched.
TV has 10 pounds, and I can't be playing like that.
But people do gain weight in their relationships because they're happy or they're in love, and they just so caught in the moment.
And black women in the kitchen, we be a whole mood. We be chefing it up,
and everything.
Netflixing and chilling.
You
know, that scale going up in the wrong direction. Like, how baby, we need to go to the gym.
We gotta work this thing out.
Absolutely.
Yes, but I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
Know, and to stay who you are, because you're so amazing. Because your career is through the roof. You are working. You are a work in progress.
Yes, I am.
And I'm just admiring your growth, and
Thank
I'm
you
so
so
happy
much.
for you. And I'm excited to see how. Matter of fact, let's talk about it. Are you looking to release an EP, an album?
Yes. So we're letting this single, which just I think we released this on August 30th or the 31st. So we're letting the single grow legs, and we're really just trying to see the response, which has been amazing. Like, people have been responding so well to the record.
Man, it's
the
going
DJs
crazy.
just got serviced the record this week, so it's going to start impacting radio and then start impacting a lot of, nightlife establishments, lounges, clubs. But I think our goal right now is to let the people tell us what they're feeling. When people are like, okay, I love this, I know all the words, I got it down, I even came up with my own little dance, what's next? So once we start seeing the demand come in, like, people are like, okay, I'm living with the whole mood, I need more, then we're going to release another single, and then right after that, we're going to schedule the EP to be released.
I think that's smart.
Yeah.
Let the audience
I
tell
don't want
you.
to overly saturate people with music. I want them to live with it, learn it, become a part of their DNA, part of their everyday routine. The cleaning, the cooking, the riding in the car,
Yes.
the sitting in the car before you go in the house.
Yes.
For 30 minutes.
Your vocals are phenomenal.
Thank you.
Phenomenal.
I mean, that means a lot because you are a very genuine person, and you come from a place of authenticity. A lot of times people are like, oh, congratulations, you're doing your thing. Like, oh, I see you on the gram. I'm like, I didn't even know you were following me because you don't like any of my pictures, but you see me on the gram. Okay, girl. Thank you. But that's not real sincere, in my opinion. So I appreciate it coming from you because I know you really rock with me.
I really, really rock with you.
Yeah.
I fuck with you.
Yeah. The long way.
But yes, I just want to I just want to say thank you so much for just
having me.
sharing your story and just just being here with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome. I just felt like we were just on the stoop having a conversation.
Of course, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Comfortability.
Yes, absolutely.
But yes, give me a hug.
Yes.